Hi, welcome again to Hollywood Recapped. Today I'm going to give an explanation for a romantic thriller movie from 2009 titled Chloe. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts with Chloe, a young woman who's discussing her business as a call girl to the viewers. She explains that she must be capable of pleasing her clients with her words as well as with her actions. Catherine, a middle-aged gynecologist living in Toronto, is working in her office. She glances out of her window at different times to see Chloe entering the hotel down the road from her office with her clients. Catherine's husband David, a college professor, lectures to a class in New York. At the stop of the lecture, an attractive female student says that some of the class desires to take him to dinner. He politely declines, saying it is his birthday and he is supposed to return home. The whole class begins to sing "Happy Birthday to You." Catherine hosts a surprise birthday party for David, who has not arrived. Assuring the visitors that David is just minutes away, she gets a call from him saying that he missed his flight and will no longer make it home in time for his birthday. Whilst David is on the cell phone, one of his girl students is shown to be at his side. The next morning, Catherine wakes up to find David at home. He apologizes to her, saying that he didn't understand there was a birthday party for him. Though it is an hour earlier than David normally leaves for work. He tells Catherine that he must depart early so he can get coffee. Catherine finds her 17-year-old son Michael with his female friend, who is walking around the residence in her underwear. Disturbed, Catherine asks if they're using safety. Michael says that David is aware of about his girlfriend spending the night. The relationship between Catherine and Michael seems to be strained. Catherine suspects David of having an affair after she sees a picture of him and the lady student hugging his face of a text message saying thanks for the night. That evening, David and Catherine go out to dinner with two friends. David flirts with a waitress, clearly upsetting Catherine. Catherine goes to the restroom and enters a stall, overhearing a woman crying in the next stall. She asks her if the whole lot is okay. The female replies evasively, saying that there is no bathroom paper. Catherine fingers her thumb underneath the partition. The woman states that men are such dogs. Catherine has the same opinion. She exits her stall. The lady Chloe follows her as they are washing their hands. Chloe offers Catherine her hairpin. Catherine kindly refuses, then says she must return to her husband. During dinner, Catherine notices Chloe still upset with some other consumer at a table a quick distance away. The subsequent day after work, Catherine stops by means of the hotel bar where Chloe spends the majority of her time ready for attainable clients. Chloe, searching at Catherine, passionately tells her that she does not generally meet with female. Catherine reassures Chloe, explaining that she suspects her husband of infidelity. She wishes Chloe to go to David's coffee shop in the morning and meet with him in order to test his loyalty. The subsequent morning, Chloe goes to the coffee store and waits where David shows up as expected. Chloe hesitates and then goes over to him to ask if she could borrow some sugar from his table, for the container at hers is empty. David makes eye contact with Chloe and offers her the sugar dispenser. Later that afternoon, Catherine and Chloe meet. Chloe describes the meeting with David, saying he was friendly, however only mildly flirtatious, and that nothing truly happened. Curious, Catherine asks Chloe how she does what she does. Chloe speaks openly about herself, how she tries to see properly in people and that all varieties of people walk into her life, including Catherine herself. Catherine will pay Chloe and asks she meet with David one extra time to see what he does. That evening, Catherine sees David speaking with anyone by using instant message and chuckling gently passing by Michael's room. She overhears him talking to his female friend on video conference. She is making an attempt to put some distance between them, supposedly because of upcoming graduation. But Michael thinks there are different motives. Suddenly he sees his female friend staring over his shoulder. Turning, he angrily springs to his feet and closes the door in Catherine's face. Catherine goes again downstairs and tells David that Michael's lady friend is leaving him. She suspects she's responsible due to the fact of her disapproval that the woman was sound asleep over with Michael. David assures her that Michael will be okay. He shares a sip of the scotch that Catherine bought for his birthday with her, and they start to reconnect, wondering when they stopped being the young lovers that usually picked each other up at the airport and couldn't stand to be apart. The subsequent morning, Catherine overhears Michael speaking to David on his mobile phone, comparing how he met his girlfriend to how Catherine and David met. A story Michael continually liked to hear. Catherine smiles as she listens. Catherine's phone signals her to a message from Chloe asking Catherine to meet her at a restaurant. Having been reassured about David, Catherine says she is feeling better about a relationship with him and would not want Chloe to see him anymore. But Chloe says she'd already met David again. Chloe begins to describe the encounter in greater element. Chloe tells how she went with David to lunch and then to a backyard where he kissed her passionately and she could feel him getting aroused. Catherine is deeply upset as Catherine tries to maneuver out of a tight parking space. Chloe gets on her bicycle to pedal away. Her bike skids and tips over on a patch of snow and Chloe skins her knee. Catherine takes Chloe again inside and opens her clinical bag to bandage up Chloe's knee. As she starts off to take a medical scissor to cut Chloe's pantyhose away from her knee, Chloe declines and slides them down, which disquiets Catherine. Later Chloe is describing the meeting with David similarly in extra detail. She tells how she kissed David in a hidden niche in the gardens and gave him a meat shake massage. Catherine awkwardly asks for reassurance that Chloe is smooth of any STDs and Chloe guarantees to convey her medical documents. Seeing this, Catherine drives home and showers. As she washes herself, her thought spins with snapshots drawn from the tales Chloe told her about her meeting with David. As Catherine lies down to sleep, David is seen wide awake in the bed beside her, his face pinched with nervousness. Chloe goes to Catherine's office the subsequent day to bring in her medical documents. She overhears Michael telling the receptionist that he wants to choose up his tuxedo. For a recital, Chloe approaches Michael as he is photocopying musical sheets and talks to him about her preferred band. Chloe offers Catherine the papers and tells her that she is meeting David once more as per Catherine's request. Later that day, Michael offers Catherine a lots cooler reception as he choices his tuxedo up, not even thanking her, as he walks out lunching with buddies. Catherine receives a text message from Chloe asking her to meet her at a hotel. When Catherine arrives at the hotel room, the bathrobe-clad Chloe tells her that she had intimate session with David. She describes the come upon in explicit detail, but alternatively than causing Catherine more heartbreak. It arouses her feeling. Chloe kisses Catherine, who abruptly leaves, greatly surprised by way of this sudden display of affection. That evening Catherine goes to the music recital, where Michael is taking part in the piano on stage to an audience. She sits a distance away from David, which is not lost on both him or Michael. Somewhat loopy by using the haunting track and by each David and Michael's responses at ignoring her. Catherine leaves before the concert is over. The upset Catherine meets Chloe at the hotel, where Catherine asks her to describe extra about her encounters with David. Chloe takes her up to a room and after centrally describing her moves, she has finger insertion game with Catherine afterwards. Catherine and Chloe share a taxi, with Catherine paying for Chloe's trip home. As Catherine gets out of the taxi, Chloe presents her hairpin again. Chloe says that the hairpin was once her mother's and she now desires Catherine to have it as an image of her love for her. Catherine enters her home to discover David waiting for her. He asks her if she's been unfaithful. Catherine is infuriated and tells him she's been meaning to ask him the same question. David declines to reply. The next afternoon, Catherine arrives at her office after lunch to discover several missed calls from Chloe and an email with an image of them in bed together at the hotel from that night. Alarmed, Catherine calls her. Chloe suddenly enters Catherine's office seconds later with flowers and asks her if she loved the finger game with her the night time before. Embarrassed, Catherine admits that she did, however explains that their contract is finished. Heartbroken, Chloe tells Catherine that she loves her. Disturbed, Catherine apologizes to Chloe for miscommunicating and she thanks Chloe for supporting her and pays her for the work she has done. Chloe leaves Catherine's workplace crying, seeking revenge. Chloe goes to Michael's hockey practice. They flirt a bit, with Chloe bringing up intimate portions of data regarding his Facebook profile, particularly a picture of him and his mom. She then gives him a raise through Swan CD, at which point he admits he has already downloaded all of their music. At night time, Catherine and David go to a coffee house, where Catherine demands David to admit that he is having an affair. David admits that he did lie to her that night about missing his flight home due to the fact he hated to go to the birthday celebration. However, he denies that he is having an affair. Chloe walks in, shocking Catherine. David appears round to see at whom Catherine is staring. He apparently does not comprehend Chloe. When in a genuine baffled tone he asks who the girl is and why Catherine is so upset at this point, Catherine realizes that Chloe made up her encounters with David to come between Catherine and David. Catherine also realizes that Chloe has apparently fallen in love with her because Catherine gave her attention. Catherine apologizes to David for not having trusted him and admits that she is worried about him because she used to be getting older and extra insecure about her appearance. Then she confesses her encounters with David is stunned, however understanding, embraces and kisses her. Jealous, Chloe goes to Catherine's home. Catherine arrives to locate Chloe and Michael in Catherine's bed having sexual game. After sending Michael out of the room, the irritated Chloe accuses Catherine of thinking that she could invite someone into her life, use them, then order them away. When she's completed, simply like all of her other male clients. Chloe tells Catherine that cash isn't enough to make her go away. Chloe wields her hairpin haphazardly, pricking her very own hand and causing it to bleed, then pushing it up against Catherine's neck like a knife. Catherine apologizes fearfully and asks Chloe what she desires. She replies, "I want to kiss you." Catherine kisses Chloe as Michael sneaks back into the room. Upon seeing Michael's reflection in the window, Catherine is surprised and pushes Chloe away. Chloe falls towards a large window which breaks. The digital camera closes in on Catherine. As Catherine watches Chloe slowly letting go of the window body and as a result falling through the bedroom window to her death on the patio below. Several months later at Michael's high school graduation celebration, Catherine obviously is still upset through Chloe's death. One of the guests comes up behind Catherine to speak. As Catherine turns, she is seen to be carrying Chloe's hairpin in her hair. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching the video. See you again in next.